I'll show you the anatomy landmarks to keep track of, muscle groups, and bones that you need to know to draw your own original character. I want to use the Super Stylized and the Stylized face. So we'll be making bodies for them. They won't be just floating heads. So I'll start off with the Stylized body. So yeah, we could talk about muscles too. I usually like to start off with a nice, simple base. So I'll start with the chest. I like building the torso first. Then draw an underwear shape for the legs right here. Doot, doot. I like to start off with the body and the legs because it helps keep the balance of the pose. Because when you draw the arms, you know, it's kind of asymmetrical. It's on each side. But for legs, they're the ones that keep the balance, you know, the ones that decide the pose pretty much. And as usual, you know, for the elbows, I like to line it up on the waist. For drawing the hands, I like to put it somewhere I call the pocket area. You know, like imagine if you're putting your hands in your pockets, right? It should line up more or less. Here, you can see that I made the shoulders fairly broad. So here's like a more closer to realism body. It's not too muscular. So when you're drawing the pecs, it does not cover the entire rib cage. That's something you should remember. So say like I drew the ribs like this, and then the pelvis like that, right? It would not cover the entire thing. It'd be like around here. And then it starts to end at around here. It attaches to the collarbone, the pecs, just like that. The pecs, actually, I want to give advice on how it attaches. So this is how knowing these like attachment points will help you with drawing. Because actually, the pecs attach to this bone right here. So they actually wrap around like that. So when you're drawing the pecs, you don't just draw them going all the way to the back. They actually like go up like that. And then on the collarbone, so it's attached kind of like this, but then it starts to detach from the collarbone right around here. It forms like a triangle, and that triangle is because the deltoid, which is like the shoulder muscle, is also attached to the collarbone like that. Like you don't literally have to draw that triangle, but it's a good landmark to remember. So this one isn't exclusively male. It's also the same for female. So yeah, here's a good reference photo, and you could sort of see it. You know, Proco did this sketch, and you could see that he marked it. This is the pecs, and this is where the deltoid starts. And then there's like this little space in between. You could sort of see it. This is the little space where it gets separated. And actually, if you want to exaggerate, it's not just the biceps. I know a lot of people, they exaggerate the biceps first. It's kind of more effective if you equally make each muscle in the arm bigger. So for stylized, I'll go for a more realistic look, but then for super stylized, I'll go for the super anime look that everyone knows. You know, the ones that bodybuilders look like. Super toned, super like defined muscles. And I want to talk about the neck, actually, so making the neck a little bit muscular. So this is the trapezius, yeah, you got it right here. It's the muscles, like right next to the neck, basically. So this is another way to make your characters look muscular, is to really bulk this up, right there. And I know we're drawing like anime male bodies, but you could definitely add this to your feminine characters as well. So we drew the pelvis right here. So I like to draw this rectangle. And so the tip of the rectangles represents a point in the pelvis. It's a mouthful. It's called the anterior superior iliac spine, but the ASIS for short. It's like a really good landmark. And then these corners are something called the great trochanter. Is that part in the leg bone? So it's like this little protrusion. So yeah, if you take a look at the leg bone, it kind of juts out because that point is a muscle attachment point. So imagine this is like the leg and then it connects to the socket. Instead of just going down like that, it has like this little muscle attachment point. This is the ASIS, and then this is the great trochanter. It's kind of staircase, as I like to call it. So earlier, you know, we had the pecs, the ribs, and then the stomach right here. And then it happens again. So it starts from pelvis, and then the glute muscles, and then the great trochanter. It has like the little bumps to it. Oh, and a little tip for drawing arms, right, is to remember the chain. That means is if you think about the deltoid, it kind of attaches like that, and then you have the bicep, kind of like the front, like that, and then the forearm attaches like that. Here, you have the shoulder, right, the deltoid, and then there's the tricep. For the forearm, it attaches like right here. Yeah, I like to add like a little V, because that's you know, where the bicep kind of ends right here, and then where the forearm sort of starts, it attaches like right here. So now you're kind of seeing it more, you know, the chain. So this attaches like that, and then like that. So biceps, you know, they get stretched. So obviously when you flex them like this, then they pump out like that. So when they're like relaxed and kind of outstretched like this, they don't get that big. You know, they're kind of like more this shape, like a smoother wave. Then I draw the hand as I usually do. So time to draw the other hand. So when I draw the hand, I like to draw the thumb first because it's a good landmark, because it's different from all the fingers, and draw the rest of the fingers kind of like a mitten. And I really wanted to take my time with explaining all this because these are like the main things that people kind of exaggerate. Videos like these wouldn't be possible without our awesome patrons and YouTube members who help our mission of making arts education free and accessible for everyone. Become a member today and unlock cool perks like exclusive chats with our creators, access to class recordings, and critiques from instructors. There's something called the adductors, which is like this inner muscle group, and then the quads right here. So the quads are like this part, like the top, and then I'll draw the knee. I need to make this a little smaller. I'll draw like a front-facing thigh. So right here, that's the adductor, and then these are the quads, and then there's like a little part here, and this is the knee. So imagine, this is like a landmark I like to do, is on the inside, it's called the inside of the thigh. Like right next to the knee, there's like a little teardrop. I like to add that as a landmark. So it's this part. So now you have, again, quads. Then this is the adductor. Then other muscles. I always like to start smaller with the base and then kind of make the muscles bigger. And then for the calves, got the knee. There. Then the ankle. Just like that, we got the feet. Ankle on the inside is always a little bit higher. It's not the same height. Yeah, and you know, I should start drawing the head actually. So, put the ears. So I won't make the face too detailed here. Big anime style eyes that take up like most of the face. Then, facial hair. Then, little hair strand. Then, the hair. Maybe I'll go for like a more JoJo style. Like really buff, really big, you know, Dragon Ball or Jotaro style. Yeah, there you go. You have like a fairly muscular build, right? And you can see that it's not like an anime where you can see like every single muscle where it's like bam, bam. You know, like kind of like the chiseled style. Because in a more realistic setting, muscles don't really get that defined. And actually, honestly, I could make his head a touch bigger. Then add the hair back. Yeah, so now I want to move on to the super stylized body. Now, that one's gonna be fun. So we're gonna do all the same steps all over again. You know, just like draw the head. But again, this time, you know, the head's a little bit bigger. I know I said anime heads are usually bigger, but sometimes the bodies are just so big that it makes the head look smaller. This time, I'm really exaggerating the shoulders like a lot. I didn't really want to get more into the muscle names and all that. I didn't want to get too technical because people who are starting off, they hear, oh, you should study. But a lot of the time, it gets really overwhelming. Then they give up on it and they think like, oh, maybe drawing's not for me, you know? I don't want to learn all the muscles and all that. Actually, it's a nice mix of both. You don't have to know every single muscle, but just knowing the landmarks sometimes is more than enough. Be curious about landmarks. So now I'll draw the pecs first, and then again, I'll exaggerate. Then again, the bicep. And again, remember, so we got pecs, ribs, then the waist, you know, the stomach. That, and then the ribs. So draw a six pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then remember the landmark we talked about. You have the ASIS and the Great Trochanter, that little magic square. I'll draw like the underwear shape. Let me define these muscles a little bit more now. I'm really showcasing, you know, the muscle divisions. Usually it won't be this visible where like you could see like, oh, you could see the deltoid and you could see the pecs. You have to be really dehydrated basically to have, you know, the muscles that you see a lot where it's like, oh, like super toned, like this. Again, the knee, and then teardrop, and then the calves. This advice on muscles is not really exclusive to just drawing males. A lot of it carries over, you know, you just need to combine what you learned from the feminine body tutorial, anime girls, and you could like add the proportions basically. You know, you could readjust some of the proportions to make it fit a more feminine plus muscular style. There we go. So I'm keeping the arm like nice and just relaxed. Now that I've detailed the arms, start drawing the legs again. So again, the teardrop is like right here, and then the knee. So let me try to detail it more properly. Then the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also look at that. Oh my gosh. Absolute unit. Finally drawing the face. Let me draw his hair now. Yeah, and you could see that with stylized, you could make it more angular, you could exaggerate. So as long as it's like in the right place. As long as the muscles are in the right place, it'll look nice. If you want to make your character super muscular, consider drawing a much smaller head compared with the shoulder width and a thicker neck. So that'll really give it the effect of being more muscular. I play around with exaggerating the proportions more near the end. Oh, and I haven't colored the undies. Let me color my multiply layer, maybe a little bit brighter. And then I'll pick like a darker background. I'm gonna start off with this guy right here to clean up my artwork. But yeah, when it comes to shading muscles, it's all about being subtle. You know, you don't have to be like in your face about shading muscles too. For example, this one, you know, the bicep, only like subtly like imply that it's like, you know, well shaped, very toned. And again, this is the lat, right? This is the latimus dorsi. Don't shade each individual part. Like, you just have to do it like very, very subtle. Start cleaning up the hair. And I'm not gonna add too deep of shading on the face. So you don't have to like make it hyper detailed with shadows and all that. And I'm gonna make the skin a touch less gray, like that. For the undies. If you want a more in-depth video on how to shade muscles, let us know in the comments. Because again, I'm just kind of quickly going over all this as like a quick aside. And then I'll do the same for our other character. Because again, I won't do like too intense a shading. Just enough to sort of shape those muscles. Yeah, so I'm kind of like imagining that this part, you know, if the light is coming from the top, then this bottom part would be in shadow. Kind of like rounding it out. Really making it nice and defined. And same with the biceps and the delts. And then we make eyelashes darker. If you really want to exaggerate it, an easy way to do it is to make the head size a bit smaller and the neck width a little bit thicker. So it's easy to adjust those sizes to really make it feel a lot more exaggerated and more muscular. I'm gonna make the neck a bit thicker, like that. Join a virtual art class to learn live from our professional artists. Get creative assignments, individual guidance, and real-time feedback on your artwork. Start today and level up your practice. If you learned something new, please like and share this video with a fellow art nerd. If you love receiving quality and free arts education, subscribe. Here's a couple other videos you can check out next.